Today's chapter is force and acceleration. Here mainly you have to learn about Newton's first law, second law, and third law of motion. Newton's first law of motion, we all know the statement that every body continues to be in the state of rest or in the state of uniform motion unless it is compelled by an external unbalanced force. External unbalanced force, that is Newton's first law of motion. Newton's first law of motion is also known as law of inertia. What is inertia? Inertia is the property or the tendency of a body to maintain the state of rest or the state of uniform motion. That tendency or that property of a body is called inertia. Inertia is measured by the mass of the body. Mass. Greater the mass, greater the inertia. That means the body will have a greater tendency or greater property of maintaining its initial state. In lower classes, we used to do lots of reason tax questions like why a passenger feels a jerk in the backward direction when the bus suddenly starts, or when the brake is suddenly applied in a bus or in a vehicle, the passengers in the bus are thrown forward. So all these questions are based on the inertia. I think you all know the reasons behind. Now, this chapter is mainly calculation or numerical based. We'll talk about Newton's second law of motion. Before Newton's second law of motion, you must know the definition of momentum. What is momentum? Linear momentum, other we call it linear momentum. Linear momentum denoted by P. We say momentum is the product of mass and velocity. So that P is equal to mass into velocity, mv. P equal to mv. This is called momentum of the body, where m is mass and v is the velocity. SI unit of momentum. SI unit of momentum is from this equation we can find the SI unit of momentum. Mass is kg, velocity is meter per second. So that is kg meter per second. And momentum is a vector quantity. Momentum has a direction. So momentum is vector quantity. P is a vector. P is a vector quantity. And direction of P will be the direction of velocity, because mass does not have direction. We write like this: P equal to mass into velocity. Mass into velocity. That means momentum depends on two factors. What are the two factors? First is mass and the second one is velocity. How to change momentum? Change momentum is like this: delta P. Delta means change. Change in momentum. How can we change the momentum? Momentum can be changed by either changing the mass of the body, or by changing the velocity of the body, or by changing both. When we keep the mass constant and we only change the velocity, that time I am writing like this: m delta v. Delta p is equal to m delta v will be written. When this written, when mass is constant, when m is constant. And normally, when the mass of a body remains constant, when does it remain constant? When the speed of a body is much less than the velocity of the light or the speed of the light. When m is constant, under bracket you can write when v is much less than c. C means v means speed of the body or velocity of the body is much less than the velocity of light. Like for example, a car is moving with a speed of 200 meter per second, or maybe 30 meter per second. So definitely the value of the speed of the velocity is much less than the speed of that. The speed of that value is how much? 3 into 10 to the power of 8 meter per second. So this time the mass of the body will not change. Mass of the body will remain constant. So that's why we write delta p value m delta v when m is constant and when a body moves with a velocity much less than the velocity of light. Then the mass of the body normally does not change. Second case, changing momentum equation we can write like this: delta mv. This equation is written when mass when m is changing or both m and v are changing. This thing normally when a body moves with a velocity nearly equal to this means nearly equal to the speed of light, then the mass of the body does not remain constant. The mass of the body suddenly starts increasing. So there is a theory, it's called theory of relativity, given by Einstein. He said that when a body moves with a very high speed, that is close to the velocity of the light, then the mass of the body suddenly starts increasing. Mass does not that time remain constant. That time the equation becomes like this, delta is equal to delta n. That time we will be writing like this. For example, when a rocket is fired, so velocity also will change, mass also will change, because fuel will get burnt and the mass of the rocket overall will keep on changing. Even when a car is driven, so diesel or the petrol gets burnt, so those masses will be coming out, the mass of the car or the vehicle will be changing. So that time we will be using this equation. So this equation is only applicable when mass is constant, and where is the mass constant? When V is much less than C. This equation, when it is possible, when V is nearly equal to the value of C. So these two cases you must know very well. Because question even may come right on the equation when a body, right on the equation for the change of momentum, when the body's speed is much less than the speed of light. Again, the velocity of the body is nearly equal to the velocity of light. So accordingly we have to write. So this is about the momentum. Now, Newton's second law of motion, that is most important of the three. Newton's second law of motion. Newton's second law of motion states that the rate of change of momentum is directly proportional to the force applied, and this change takes place in the direction of force. So that is the statement of Newton's second law of motion. Newton's first law of motion I already defined, I already have given the statement. Newton's first law of motion statement was that everybody continues to be in the state of rest or to be in the state of uniform motion unless it is compelled by an unbalanced force. That we mentioned. Okay, Newton's second law of motion we have. Now we'll see the mathematical form of Newton's second law of motion. We'll be writing therefore F is proportional to changing momentum delta T by time here, or we write like this, or we can write as F proportional to dP by dt. So any one way we can write, either this way or this way. So this is a bit calculus method since you have not done as yet, so we'll be writing in this manner. Okay. Changing momentum with respect to time. The time. We'll continue further. We write as F equal to this time we will changing with constant K delta P by T, where K is constant. We mentioned that. Then we will be writing in MKS unit, that is meter kilogram second unit. K value is found to be 1. The value of K is found to be 1. We put that value back. We get F is equal to delta P by T. That is rate of change of momentum is equal to force. But this thing happens only in MK system. The rate of change of momentum will be equal to the force. In MK system or in MK unit, this will happen. Okay, now this is called general case. This case is applicable in all situations. Now we proceed further. Change in momentum formula will be written as m delta v by t. This one is called special case. Why special case? Because this time mass is constant. The special case, since m is constant, and this is only applicable when m is constant, or when v is much less than c. When velocity of a body is much less than the velocity of light. So that one I'll be writing. Next I will write is f, m as it is. Change in velocity by the time is called acceleration, and that f equal to m as a formula. So we have the formula force is equal to ma, but this formula is only special case. Why special case? Because in this equation mass is constant. Then this equation is valid only when m is constant. So f is equal to m is the formula. Even your question will come, state Newton's second law of motion. Using this equation, derive the formula f equal to ma. Then you have to show all these steps that come in here. That is one derivation. And then our question will come, f equal to ma. Under what condition this equation is valid? It will be better when m is constant, or when v is much less than c. But this equation is, valid in all situations. F equal to delta p by t. This is delta sign, triangle pattern, delta p by t. So F is equal to ma we have done. Now what is the SI unit of force? SI unit of force is Newton. I think you all know that. SI unit of force is Newton. SI unit of force is Newton, and CGS unit of force is dyne. 1 Newton is equal to 10 to the power 5 dyne. I think you know this value also. What is gravitational unit of force? Gravitational unit of force is kgf or gf. Kgf in SI unit, this is the unit SI unit, and this one is in CGS unit. How do we define 1 kgf force? 1 kgf definition, how do we define? We say 1 kgf is the force of gravity acting on a body of mass 1 kg. How to define 1 gf? It is the force of gravity on a body of mass 1 gram. The 1 kgf value, 1 kgf will have the mass 1 kg. So you will be writing a 1 kg mass value 1 kg. And force formula is actually mass into a acceleration. There we get acceleration due to gravity. Acceleration due to gravity value is 9.8 meter per second square. So answer will come 9.8 kg meter per second square. That is Newton. That is 1 kg value is 9.8 Newton. That means you have to multiply by the value of g, or which will round off like 10 Newton approximately. Because here they are taking the value of g equal to 10. I think this thing used to do in class, lower class, class 9 and all used to do this. I think this is only a revision of the previous classes. Okay, now this one, Newton's third law of motion. What is Newton's third law of motion? You all know, to each action there is equal and opposite reaction. To each action there is equal and opposite reaction. So about this, there are various cases, action, reactions, examples in our daily lives. All these things we will discuss in the next chapter. Okay, another chapter which we will be doing sometime later on. So there we will be discussing about. So right now, out of 3 laws, Newton gave 3 laws. Newton gave 3 laws of motion. First law, second law, and the third law of motion. The most basic law is the Newton's second law. Second law is the most basic law. What is the meaning of basic? That is this one we cannot obtain from any other law, but whereas the other 2 laws can be obtained by using the Newton's second law of motion. So let us, question become is obtain Newton's first law of motion, Newton's first law from second law of motion. Obtain Newton's first law from second law of motion. Okay, how to obtain first law? First law statement I already gave, but we have to prove the first law using the second law. How do we do? For that we have like this. Derivation we do this. Since from second law, we write F equal to ma, force is equal to mass into acceleration. Here we put F equal to 0, we make the external force 0, that is in the absence of the force where we know that 0 is equal to ma. Here when this, for this equation to be true, either m has to be 0 or a has to be 0, any one has to be 0 or both have to be 0. But m cannot be 0 because mass of a body, when a body is there, it will have material, so mass cannot be 0, right? That is, since m cannot be 0, therefore a equal to 0. Since m cannot be 0, therefore acceleration is 0. What does the acceleration 0 means? When will the acceleration of a body be 0? So acceleration of a body will be 0 only in two cases, two circumstances. Either the body is at complete rest, not moving at all, that time acceleration is 0 because initial velocity is also 0, final velocity is also 0, then acceleration is 0. That is one possibility. Second possibility, acceleration 0 will be when a body moves with a uniform velocity. I mean the direction and the speed of the body does not change. Uniform motion, when the body is in uniform motion in a straight line, then the acceleration is 0. Why acceleration is 0? Because initial velocity and final velocity are equal and direction also the same. As a velocity, direction also not changing and the magnitude also not changing. So uniform motion we are seeing. Uniform translational motion, I mean straight line motion. Then the acceleration is 0. So there are two possibilities. That means we can have two possibilities will be body at rest, we can have a body at rest, or we write a body is in uniform translational motion. That is what conclusion do we draw from it? When force is not there, then in the absence of external force, the body will remain at rest or the body will remain in uniform translational motion. That is what the Newton's first law says. A body will remain in the state of rest or in the state of uniform motion in a straight line unless it is compelled by an external force. If you don't give the external force, the body will be maintaining its state of rest or the state of uniform motion in the absence of that force. Hence, after that we write hence Newton's first law is derived. Newton's first law is obtained or derived. When force is 0, then A will be 0. That is the two situations arises. Either the body is at rest or the body is in uniform translational motion. Then the Newton's first law is obtained from the Newton's second law. Even Newton's third law also can be obtained from the Newton's second law. But that proving I will be doing in the next chapter, another chapter. Okay. But Newton's second law is the basic law which cannot be obtained from any other law. But other two laws can be obtained from the Newton's second law. That is why Newton's second law is called the basic law of motion. Basic law. Which one is the basic law of motion? Is Newton's second law. Not the first law, not the third law. Okay. Now we have to do some many problems are there in this chapter. You have to find the acceleration. What produces acceleration? Force. When force will be there, then there will be acceleration. And formula we'll be using the F equal to ma. I mean, general cases, special cases when the body's speed is not that very high. So that is only we are discussing. So this is quite simple. So you can just see the situation out there and how we find. Suppose we are having a surface, frictionless surface. Frictionless surface we can do like this. Frictionless means smooth surface. This means smooth. Polishing is smooth surface. Frictionless. You are not considering any friction, and you are giving a force like this. F is equal to, say for example 100 Newton you are giving, and mass of the body is 2 kg. Question says find the acceleration in the body. Simple. So we'll be writing F equal to ma the formula. Force is 100, mass is 2 and A, therefore A value is coming 50, unit will give meter per second square. Finish. Now, another question. This was question number 1. Now question number 2. We are having again a frictionless surface. In every case, we are dealing with a frictionless surface, that is smooth surface we are dealing with. We are having two masses here like this mass and two masses are there like this. Another mass, this is M1, this is M2, this is 2 kg, this is 3 kg, and we are giving a force of 20 Newton like this. So what will happen now? Again we will be writing the formula F. This force will pull both the masses. Here we will be writing as M1 plus M2A. Now F value is given 20, M1 plus M2 you can add, become 5A. Therefore A value is coming 4 meter per second square. MS minus 2. It's a simple question. Now question number 3. We are having the masses connected with a string like this or with a rope like this. F is over here. We are having mass of 2 kg. This is M2, 3 kg, and we are giving a force of 20 Newton here like this. Question is asking two things. Find the acceleration of the system. Acceleration of both the bodies. First thing you have to find. And second part, tension in the string connecting the masses. Tension in the string connecting the masses. Two things you have to find. First thing you have to do is find acceleration. Question says acceleration. Second part, tension in the string connecting the masses. First of all, we will find acceleration. First part we will know acceleration we are finding. First case. Let us find acceleration at F equal to force is equal to ma. This force will pull both the blocks, both the masses. That is, here we will be writing like previous one M1 plus M2A. We will be writing that. Put the value of F 20. M1 and M2 we are writing becoming 2 plus 3A. Therefore 20 is equal to 5A. So 4 meter per second square. That is the first answer. Acceleration value will come 4 meter per second square. Now the tension here between these two masses we will find a tension. To find a tension will be in the direction of the force because the string will get stretched in this manner. So tension will be acting like this. Tension will be acting in this manner, in the direction of the force applied. Okay, now tension value we writing tension. This tension is pulling which mass? This T is pulling only M1. We can have a look at this T independently pulling only this mass. So we can have T is equal to M1, only M1. This T is pulling only mass number 1, M1. That is 2 and A value we already have 4. So answer is 8 Newton. The unit of tension is also Newton. So that is the answer. Simple. Now another question. Another question says we are having a surface, one mass, another mass is there, and this is M1 2 kg, M2 3 kg, M3 5 kg, and F is equal to 20 Newton. This is the string A, this is the string B, and the last one is the string C. Oh yes, this is string C. There are 3 strings which are used to pull these masses by a total force of F 20 Newton shown in the diagram. Question says find the acceleration of the system. First part. Second part of question says find the tension in the string A and B. Find the tension in the string A and B. Let us do. First part of the question is asking to find acceleration. Even if they don't ask you to find acceleration, we must calculate acceleration first, and then only we can go for finding tension. So acceleration, how can we find? This force is pulling all the three masses. You can have a look at the diagram. You can add F is equal to directly m1 plus m2 plus m3a. Force value is 20. All the masses to add 2 plus 3 plus 5 into a. This becomes 20 is equal to 10a. Therefore, the value of a is becoming 2 meter per second square. That is the value of acceleration. First part we know. Second part, tension in the string is tension in the string. I'll mark T1 and I'll mark here T2. Let us find T1 value first. T1. You can see the diagram. That is called free body diagram. We are considering individual body. This T1 is pulling which mass? Only M1. T1 pulls only M1. So you can write T1 is equal to M1A. M1 value is 2 and A value is 2. So answer is 4 Newton. Let us find T2. T2 is the tension in the string B. How to find tension? This T2 pulls how many masses? You can have a look. This T2, when you pull this way, both the masses M1 and M2 will pull. So here T2 value you will be writing that is M1 plus M2A. Add the two masses, 2 plus 3 into A value is 2, 5 to the 10, so 10 definitions. Question may not ask you to find the tension in the string C. Tension in the string C will be same as F, because this will pull all the three masses and the answer will be same, only 20 Newton only will come. So that part may not come. So that is the answer for today. We are doing this much. Tomorrow we will be doing little more problems on this, and this chapter is actually theoretically over. We will be doing some more types of problem in this chapter tomorrow. Okay, thank you.